All right. Welcome to the Underthought.
Welcome.
So we're giving another go at this live stuff. Ooh, it's so hard to talk. I have this in my ear again. I'm going to try and take it out. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the audio. I'm just going to leave it out and see if that continues to go. I'm going to monitor the levels here.
Perfect.
But to be honest with you guys, we've been trying to record this episode for probably about 3 hours.
Is that going to be our new introduction?
Did we say that last time?
Yeah, we've been trying to record this episode.
Well, no, this wasn't because of any errors that we had. This was because we were setting up, and it's been lightning like crazy lately, like really bad. And we were setting up, and a lightning bolt hit like right here, literally felt like it was right there, and scared the shit out of both of us.
And based on the events that took place last night, we were both terrified.
Which, the events of last night...
Well, Christian and I are sitting in here, and my sister FaceTimes calls me. FaceTimes me, and she is at Oviedo in the park, and she's showing us how a whole apartment building is on fire.
Yeah.
And apparently it was just from a lightning strike. So, of course, we're completely terrified when we hear it right here, right there, and then on top of that, the alarms start going off. All the fire alarms start going off in the building.
The fire alarms in the building start going off. So we're like, so we unplug stuff. We're trying to figure out where the hell the fire alarms are. It was really hard to tell because they're so loud and so echoey all over the complex. It's like you couldn't tell. But they went on for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, for a really long time.
And
then we just got carried away.
We just got carried away with various ventures. But the fire alarms went off. This building here is not burning down. It has not burned down. But
as far as we know.
That's very true. There could
as far
as we know. As far as we know.
Yeah.
Herman and I have been working on his tonality when it comes to speaking English.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, so that fire happened yesterday, so that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot happening lately. Current events kind of thing.
2020 is crazy, and today...
Oh, and actually, let me preface this.
Yeah, go ahead.
When Sophia FaceTimed us, I thought that the reason there was a fire in the park was because there were some manifestations? No. In Spanish, manifestations are like protests and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No, not manifestations.
But it can also mean manifestations, like...
Got it.
Little happenings. But I thought it was because of some protests.
Yeah, no, I definitely did too, because, I mean, we're both right there. We saw it at the same time. And then if you went on Twitter too, I just searched Oviedo, and somebody was like, oh, they're burning buildings in Oviedo now. And I'm like, that was literally fake news, because it was a lightning strike.
Right.
So we weren't the only people to
kind of like immediately think that.
Yeah, people were like, what, Oviedo? And no, it wasn't. But yeah, obviously today we're going to cover, obviously, I mean, if we don't make some kind of statement about it, I mean, everybody who has a platform, I think it's important for them to make some kind of statement. I just clicked on you, not me. I'm still manning the cameras, by the way, and talking at the same time, so it's really difficult. We're looking for an intern.
If you're interested, we're hiring.
Yeah, let us know.
We're paying with a lot of experience.
That's right. So obviously the events that unfolded, I believe it was on Monday, right? Was it literally Memorial Day? Within the last week.
I can't remember. Because I heard about it while I was at the office.
Which was Tuesday.
And when they talked about it, I thought they were still talking about the whole incident where...
Ahmaud Arbery?
Yeah. I thought that was the same incident.
Right.
They were still talking about that. They were like, no, this is a new one.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah, so obviously this took place over the week, so anybody with a and we're going to dive into it, but anybody with a platform, obviously at this time, is pretty much obligated to speak about it in some capacity. I think I guess we'll just jump right into it. About our experiences of seeing it. Now, and we're also going to be trying to monitor the chat this time, because if you guys don't know, we are live. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just let us know. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up and yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let us know. But yeah, so basically I saw this video Monday or Tuesday, like we said, one of those days, Monday or Tuesday, and I was sitting on the toilet actually, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, it was in plain view. And I honestly like couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. At first, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this guy's literally kneeling on his neck, and the guy was, you know, pleading. It was like 5-6 minutes long. It's like, holy fuck. I watched it again right after because I was like, wait, did I just like miss? What the fuck just happened? And so, in my opinion, he was totally murdered in cold blood in broad daylight, which is like, wow. That was really shocking for me because I feel like this was, obviously, this is not a first of something like this happening. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like this was a first for me of an incredibly eye-opening situation.
Right.
There is no question, right, about what took place right there. And to me, I was like literally shocked. I'm like, holy fuck. This guy literally just murdered him in broad daylight in like such a brutal and slow way too, nonetheless. And we have video evidence of it right here. And I can't imagine how anybody's possibly going to refute this or say anything about it because, I mean, I feel like that typically comes quickly after a video surfaces or something. Is like, okay, well, what happened? And I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I'm going to keep going because I have some points I want to make that kind of tie into all of that. For me, seeing this, I was like, whoa. And then the outrage and protest that was to follow, I really think it's unfortunate that it had to get where it's gotten, that we had to see something like that. I mean, someone literally being murdered in broad daylight like that, for it to raise awareness and actually go click a light bulb and go, wait a second, holy shit. But dude, it sounds terrible, but I mean, I feel like it almost needed to happen for some people, like myself included, to be totally transparent.
And it sucks that it had to get to that point.
Right. And not that the injustices of before, you know, I didn't see, but they didn't have, I mean, to be told, they did not have the impact that this one has had on me. It's like, oh, holy fuck. That's crazy, right? That was my, like, holy fuck. That's crazy. That is literally murder, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
And it got me thinking about all the other ones, which is good, because all the other police brutality instances, because it's good, because it allows me to go back and look at it and say, well, wait a second. What about all the other ones that have happened? Because my brain starts going, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, what led up to that, or blah, blah, blah. Or Ahmaud Arbery, it was just talking about, you know, well, he was on this construction site, etc. Dude, I don't care if the guy literally was on the construction site and stole everything, burned the building to the ground, and that still doesn't warrant death, right? So there's a clear, something's not making sense, obviously. And so, yeah, I think this was a gleaming example that is, like I said, unfortunate that it had to happen and get this far. But I think where we are right now is good. Without, you know what I'm trying not to, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think where we are right now is good for change. I think it's like, holy shit. Because you cannot, people are getting so vocal now, and we're realizing that anything besides going for the oppressed side is being the oppressor, right? Like the silence, the silent, the silence. And, you know, I'm totally guilty of that. Like like we said in our, like, I typically don't make statements on things or realize, but I mean, this is just like a glaring example, and it's gotten me to a place that I'm like, whoa, holy fuck. And so I really hope, and I think that this incident is going to kind of bring the change that has been sought after for so long.
Right.
So that's kind of my intro of how I saw it and whatnot. How do you want to?
Yeah, I know. And part of me felt like when you see all these social media posts, your first instinct is, well, everyone on my social media already agrees with that. So why am I even going to bother to like put my statement out if it's just going to be preaching to the choir? But I feel like it's important to, like, because if everyone has that mentality, no one's ever going to do anything.
Right.
Yeah, if you're thinking that someone else is just going to do it, what's that called? The bystander effect kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And it's interesting going back to the whole thing, like the cops that were just watching their fellow teammate or
squad mate,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just seeing him do something that apparently was not in the rule book or in definitely. The guidelines, doing something like that and just being like, "Yep, that's fine," and I'm not gonna say anything. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like be like, at least like, come on, dude. Like
lighten up.
Okay, I think that's enough. Yeah. Or like just tapping him or something.
And I think the point of all this too is like, wow. So it's gotten to the point where that officer felt comfortable. Those officers felt comfortable enough to do that in broad daylight in public. So it's like, okay, if they're comfortable enough to do that,
being recorded,
how bad has it? Being recorded, being told.
Imagine if that was not recorded.
Imagine how many times it has happened and not been recorded.
Right. Yeah, that's insane.
Because it definitely has.
That's insane.
So it's like, if that's happening in broad daylight like that, then yeah, I think we're at the point of no option but some kind of progress.
You know what really irked me?
What?
Is that video that the police department put out of the body cam of one of the officers, and they literally blocked everything out.
Yeah.
That was relevant.
Audio.
Yeah, audio at some points that were crucial, or there were bars.
Big black bars covering the whole screen.
What's the point of putting that video out then? Like,
I don't think there was any reason.
That was,
I mean, the dislike ratio was like 90%.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was useless.
Not worth it. Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Did you hear that the police officer's wife, after 10 years of being married to him, filed for divorce?
Yeah, I think that's the most incriminating thing of all. I mean,
Yeah.
if this lady was with him for 10 years and she's like, yeah, no, by the way,
her heart goes out to the victims.
Yeah, you are. It's like, yeah, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy, I can't stand his face. He has like this, don't you feel like he kind of has a smirk while he's doing it?
Okay, to be honest with you, I still haven't seen the full video.
Oh, you haven't?
Like, I've only seen snippets of it. Yeah, and I haven't really gotten to see his face. And I'm not really
desiring to.
Yeah,
you don't really need
to see his face at least.
Sure, I got you.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that, his life is done.
Yeah.
Whether he goes to prison or not, he's not going to be welcome anywhere.
No, he's not going to be welcome anywhere. I mean, we have video of him murdering somebody it's crazy. And what's crazy too is when I start to think about all of the arrests that have been made for, let's say the Charleston shooter or the what was it, Aurora movie theater, all these different mass shootings by white dudes, and they just get arrested. It's crazy how many of them don't even end up getting shot or anything like that. They get arrested and peacefully, and they have these pictures of these people being arrested and giving the Charleston shooter water and making sure he's okay and stuff.
Right.
And it's like, meanwhile, this guy was forgery, literally a non-violent crime, and he's murdered.
Yeah, and then apparently there's footage evidence that he wasn't even resisting.
Right. That's what the thing was saying, that the surveillance footage shows that whole violent resistance thing was not true. Which, I mean, we'll see what comes out. It doesn't matter, though.
What's crazy, or like the craziest thing is, okay, let's say he was resisting. He was already in handcuffs, and there were already, 4 cops?
Dude, that's, I when I posted on my story, I said, what kind of fucking pussy are you that you feel that threatened to kill someone by suffocation, strangulation, whatever, in a 5 versus 1 unarmed handcuff situation.
Like, I don't understand what the point of that was. Like, I mean, to just, like, what was he waiting for?
Probably, I don't know.
Like,
I mean, for him to die, pass out, I don't know.
Right. Like,
nothing good.
The guy is clearly zero deranged. Common sense.
Yeah, the guy's clearly deranged.
And apparently they work together.
Oh yeah, for like a year.
But yeah, like, I don't know if that has anything to do with anything.
Which would just make this officer's case even worse, because then it, you know, that could be premeditated or whatever. And
then something else that's been happening is obviously the outrage after that.
Right.
Because for me, I've always thought, you know, peaceful protests, great. Violence, that's where I draw the line. But it gets to the point where it's like, dude, they have literally dealt with this problem for so long.
Well, and the same thing happens.
And the same thing keeps happening, and nothing seems to change. And they keep losing, like, family members, friends.
Right.
I can't imagine the outrage.
Yeah.
Like, until what point is, like, enough is enough, and we need to try something new. Because nothing seems to be working.
No, I agree. And when I first heard of the looting, I was like very adamant to Sydney. And also you. So, I mean, you guys played an instrumental role in kind of flipping my view on this. But when I first heard about it, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. I'm like, to me, that's just, you know, the looting of Target, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, of course, are there some people who are probably taking advantage of the situation?
Absolutely.
Of course. There's always going to be an exception to the rule.
And but there's even rumors. I haven't even confirmed it yet, but yeah, I mean, out of all people, I'm going to confirm it. But I saw that there were some rumors that white supremacists were the ones who instigated some of those lootings.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's like the video of the cop breaking the windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, and nothing's been confirmed yet, but can you imagine?
Yeah. That's wild.
And obviously there's going to be people that just jump into every opportunity to, like, cause chaos, riots. And in that video that you were just mentioning, the one that with the breaking windows, there's protesters being like, no, come on, dude, don't do that. Don't like.
Yeah, I've seen those. There was also, before I get too cut off my point, there's also a picture of the officer being guarded by all the protesters.
Yeah,
like, don't attack him.
Because he was separated from the rest of the crew.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like, there's obviously, there's good in the.
Right.
It's not all bad.
And I think that's a big problem we have. I mean, and honestly, that's what racism is in general, is just a polarizing viewpoint. And I think that's the problem, is when things are incredibly polarizing, it's all or nothing for one view or one way. Because like with the looting, I was like, what the hell? That you know, whatever. I was like, that's not cool. But then you guys were like, well, at what point is it getting attention? Okay, then it's working, right? So anything to get attention. I saw this interesting thing on Facebook. I don't remember who posted it, but it said, imagine you're stranded on an island and helicopters and boats are passing, and you scream at the top of your lungs as loud as you can, loud as you can, loud as you can, loud as you can, for weeks on end, right? No one comes to your rescue.
You have to set fire to
You set fire to your ships.
Right.
And then they finally see you. So I was like, oh, wow. That makes sense. Or the island or whatever.
Or the Tea Party thing. The whole tea...
Boston Tea Party?
Yeah. But it wasn't a party then. Like, there's a name for it. Because
the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, but there's a name... It's called the Boston Tea Party because of the tea incident. But that incident was not called the Boston Tea Party, was it?
I think that's what the incident is called. The Tea Party is a party. The Boston Tea Party is the event.
Are you sure?
There's a tea party. Yeah.
I don't know.
You know,
I guess we'll let our viewers kind of tell us.
Yeah, if you guys know, let us know. But so I think hell, I don't have the answer. And what this has caused me to realize too, is that not only do I not have the answer, I also don't have the right or position to say what the answer is either.
Right.
At this point.
Yeah.
I don't have that right or authority.
And like people who are like saying that, you know, there's no reason for the riots or anything like that, then okay, what's your solution to that? What's your idea? Like what should they do then? Or what should we do? Because obviously I feel like there's been so many peaceful protests, and like the Black Lives Matter movement,
right?
That it really sparked this like huge change like that we're seeing right now.
I mean,
the whole kneeling while the national anthem, like nothing's really like sparked that.
Yeah, and I feel that intensity now. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, before it was like...
Well, because, like I said at the beginning of this, because it's gotten my attention, right? And the things that, we do... Sydney had posted this thing of, like, things that are overtly racist that are just, not...
Oh, I saw it.
Not acceptable, like the KKK, and, for 99% of society. And then there's, like, the bottom of the pyramid, the things that we do... that we
didn't even know
are racist.
Right.
It's like, okay, it's causing this outrage with the incident is causing me to look at my behaviors and go, okay, wow, I haven't been right. Wow, there are things I do need to change, which I'm a human being, right? I'm fully willing to admit that.
And it's all about growth.
Right. It's all about growth. And this situation awoke that within me. And I'm like, wow. Because I mean, like I said, I've heard about the other shit, but just seeing such an unjust thing. How would you say that? In whatever.
Or such injustice
happening, unfolding in broad daylight. It makes me, like I said, rethink all those other things and going, holy fuck, wow, this has been, like, I get it. It's like, okay, wow, I get it, right? I get it, all in one fell swoop. And
whereas you don't think if it weren't for these events, you would have probably not even...
Well, yeah, because it's like one of those things, out of sight, out of mind. Like I said, as horrible as it is, that I feel like that's the human condition. So... I mean, that's where we are with it. But something that bothered me about the cop's charge, which you clarified for me earlier, how he was only getting third-degree...
manslaughter.
Murder, manslaughter. I was like, what the fuck? But you had a good explanation I think you should share.
Right. Because it's so much easier to prosecute him for manslaughter because at the end of the day, it has to be beyond reasonable doubt that he did in fact commit that crime. And the definition of manslaughter is like doing something that intentionally or like that's definitely not conducive to...
It's a carelessness for life.
Right. Exactly. Carelessness for life.
Yeah.
No reasonable person is going to say, you know what?
Oh yeah, kneel on a neck for 5-6 minutes while they...
And it was like 2 minutes and 50, like it was almost 3 minutes after he had already been unconscious, that he was still kneeling on his...
Dude, how crazy
unconscious for over 2 minutes. There's no arguing that. Whereas, if you go for a little bit of a higher one,
right,
there's less likely.
Basically what you said is they're afraid it won't stick, and then obviously with double jeopardy here in the United States,
right,
you can't be tried twice for the same crime. So if they do, I was going to say obviously it wasn't first degree, but it could have been because they they worked with each other. So it's possible. I'm just saying it's possible.
But no, it wasn't because he didn't know George was gonna...
You don't know that. It's possible, is all I'm saying.
Right.
It's possible. But with that, it's possible. Second degree, fits to me. To any person with a sensible mind, I feel it fits the bill. But the point of, like you said, to pass any reasonable doubt at all, third degree.
Right.
So we can at least get something. Because could you imagine if this fucker walked? I feel like, he would
have to move to another country. Not even. Fuck. He would have to leave Earth.
Dude, not only that, but I feel like that would just be like such a slap to the face of everything.
Right. Oh, God.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
And on top of that, with everything that's going on, if it wasn't happening, I don't think maybe they wouldn't have even been convicted. Like it happened all those different times where he did all these things because he's got a record of that.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened.
Yeah.
If it weren't for this public attention in this city in Minnesota, like no one would really know about it if someone hadn't recorded it. If people hadn't been outraged by the whole thing, it would have just been another statistic.
Right. Yeah. No,
I feel like, yeah.
And that goes to show, too, then, that the people do have the power, which is interesting. Right. So when they rally behind it, it can cause change. And that's what we were talking about at the beginning, how I said, I feel like it's our duty to talk, make an episode about this because any silence, right, that's kind of the
acquiescence.
Silence is acquiescence, right? So
in some cases.
Sure, we'll just go with that, whatever. But
no, as in like, there's cases where you do need to hear a yes. Like if you're about to like engage in.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Okay, right.
Yeah, if you're with a girl, silence is
sexual
not
relations.
There's silence is not acquiescence
okay.
there.
Yeah, that is. I was like, what the hell?
We just need to clarify.
Yeah, no. So yeah, silence is acquiescence in some kind of injustice. So with that, as horrible as it sounds, but it's true. As a white person, I feel like that opinion and that voice is even more required.
Right.
Because I'm not saying this, I don't believe this, but in societal terms, it's like, oh, it's more valued, right? Because we've been silent for so long.
No, but it's more valued because you're not affected. So if someone who's not affected is speaking out.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Right. Not because someone else is superior than another person.
Some people believe that. That's kind of what's forcing a lot of this stuff. But yeah, exactly. The non-affected is speaking out. And well, it makes it powerful.
We were talking about something else that's very interesting, which is that you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
But in all these cases, it seems like you're guilty until proven innocent. And not only that, you were saying how there's been this, for like so many years, there's been a debate whether we should do the capital punishment.
Yeah, the death penalty.
Death penalty or not. And that's for even like
the most heinous crimes.
Right, exactly.
Child rapists, serial murderers.
And here we have this person and multiple people that just because they're black, unarmed, nothing.
No trial.
No trial. And just
hardly an arrest.
They take it upon themselves to just
decide to be the executioner. Right. Whereas we haven't even come to a consensus of, should we kill the guy who ate 40 people, and is that morally right for us to do?
Right.
But then this decision's being made on the spot for, first of all, a basically petty crime.
Yeah, like the video that we saw of this guy, white guy with a machete, just.
Oh my God, that guy's a fucking.
Or with a
knife, axe,
with an axe or something, and he was going at the police officer, and maybe he did have a mental condition, and the cop knew not to like really do anything with him. But that's the kind of treatment that the other people deserve,
Yeah, no, for sure. And like following that video was the guy who, dude, that one pissed me off.
Yeah, that one really.
He has his hands up like this, and he just kicks him in his lower back. And falls out. I'm like,
and then so when he turns around to like be like, whoa, what was that?
Then they start choking him.
3 police officers against 1.
Dude, to me, and this is not all police officers. I do believe that the majority of police officers are good, but of course, there are bad seeds out there. To me, that's the thing. That's the biggest pussy thing. It's like, wow, you're a bitch.
Oh my gosh! You know what else I saw?
What?
There's videos of these riots where the cops, and again, not all of them, but some of them are like excited, like during the protests. They're like, yeah, bring it on. Like it's a game. Like one of them is literally being like, yeah, I'm so ready. Like,
what an incel.
You calm down.
Incel, dude.
Ugh.
It's like their dream. They're like, yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And so someone commented saying that some of these people were just, they wanted a lawful way to be a serial killer.
Dude, that's. Oh, I thought you were saying they. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying the protesters wish there was a lawful way to be. I got you.
No. Some of these police officers that listen to.
No, but that's true, right?
So that they can kill.
If you've
people.
never done a crime before, but you still have those instincts, you can become a cop.
Yeah.
Which clearly we need better vetting.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be a really good question for the experts. How do you test whether someone is going to have these tendencies?
Stress tests, things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think where we're headed right now, as uncomfortable as it is for society, so what? I mean, I think we're headed in the right direction of change to where we need to go. I don't know the answer. And like I said before, I don't have the right to tell people what is the answer and is not the answer for something that, you know, I've been privileged enough to not have to think about. Because I'm aware of that. White privilege does exist. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And I benefit from it. So therefore, I don't have the right to police what other people, no pun intended, but police what other people are.
And did you see
doing.
What the governor, or not the governor, but the mayor of Minneapolis? I feel like he's in such fire with both sides.
Poor guy.
He seems like at least he's not like the other guy that we saw. That was like, what was he saying about the killing? Oh, it was the guy that I think he was a mayor or something, and he said that since George was able to say I can't breathe, that
that
he was
fat
able to
fucking penis-looking guy.
Yeah,
he was an attorney,
something like that. But then,
he was a mayor. He was a mayor of a small town.
I don't know, but
you got to tell me exactly what you said about that because it was great.
It's a catch-22 because if you don't say you can't breathe, then he didn't say anything, so he must have been.
It doesn't even matter if he could breathe. He died.
Right. No, and it shows it,
like,
right?
What?
And then when he's saying that he can't breathe, he clearly was speaking. Oh, no, he still died, kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's such a stupid argument for that guy to make.
So I feel like at least the mayor of Minneapolis has been like, you know, I understand their rage because this is not just a 5 day ago kind of thing. This has been going on for hundreds of years.
Yeah, and that guy's got to make. I mean, he's gonna have an ulcer after all this because all the tough decisions.
And this is his first term, and he's so young too.
Damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Like he's got to piss some people off, whatever he decides to do.
Right.
So it's crazy. But I thought what I wanted to say, which I thought was funny that you said about the.
I had specifically glossed over that. I'm kidding.
It was funny. I thought it was funny
because I said
we're referring to the mayor that said about the situation that George Floyd.
He just looked like he probably had trouble breathing himself. He probably had.
We thought it was ironic. This guy was so fat. It looked like he struggled with some
or sleep apnea at least or something.
Breathing problems. Yeah. So sleep with one eye open, bud.
Right.
For your sleep apnea.
And then another news, Target CEO sent out a statement about the whole thing.
I feel like dude, eloquent. No pun intended. Very eloquent.
Yeah, it was very well put together, I feel like, because he could have been like I don't know.
Covered all bases.
Yeah, no,
I felt covered all bases and some.
So someone commented saying, if Target CEO is not even mad about his store,
right, then
why should you? Like about the whole riots,
right.
And I get it, but at the same time, it might be different for some small businesses that were affected,
right? And
I feel like that's kind of tricky, you know.
Well, and that's what I've been feeling about. It's hard to place.
Yeah,
it's hard. And here's what I've discovered: there's not two ways to feel.
Right.
There's like a million you can feel.
Right.
You can be like, and then ooh, but it's like, dude, it's all over the place. It's a very complex thing. It's not binary, right? It's not a binary.
And logically
issue.
Speaking, yes, peaceful protests should have done the trick.
Yeah, but clearly it doesn't.
Clearly, like, these lives should have been, like, there should have been justice all along.
Right.
But logically speaking, the world's not logical, I guess.
Right. And what I really didn't like, and what kind of rubbed me the wrong way, was what Trump's been saying about, first of all, the whole thug thing. Why use that word, thugs?
Right.
Thugs. There are thugs in the street, Donald Trump says. First of all, come on.
Yeah.
And then when the people just a few weeks ago, when Corona is freaking out, Oh, they're just nice
Very
people.
nice people.
Very nice people that just want to go to their salon. Well, you know what?
And the governor should listen to them and come up with a deal.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, Trump. So that was one thing that I was like, okay. The second thing that I just could not believe
I know what you're gonna say.
When the looting starts, the shooting starts. Dude, I'm like, do you fucking see what you're typing? You're threatening death upon people for looting. Whether he agrees with the looting.
Do you know where that saying comes from?
From the Miami mayor, right?
Yep.
Which he's also quoted as saying, Sydney was telling me that this is the Miami mayor at the time, 70s or something. He didn't care if his officers were convicted or accused of police brutality. He didn't care. So, to say, dude, that sentence to me.
And I don't know if he got it from there or because it just rhymes. But what are the chances?
I feel like he's referencing it. Because, I mean, come on.
Oh, and then immediately he sent out another statement kind of being like, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way.
Is that what he said?
Yep.
Well, dude, what does shooting mean? When the looting starts? Come on. And he's threatening these people with, I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry, I can't think of it. But
what are you trying to say?
The task, the certain kind of force that he's threatening on.
Oh, military police or
some kind. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We'll just call it military police. Call us idiots in the comments, whatever you want. But he's threatening with the military police. And I'm like, dude, do you realize what you're doing? He's turning it into a versus. He's adding a versus sign.
There shouldn't be. No, not at all.
How is he not able to not add a versus? He's creating a versus when he's saying that there's a slash and a clear divide.
I honestly feel like the country hasn't been as divided as when he took office. Like,
dude,
I don't remember like this being such a huge thing.
No, the division is insane. And what some people say though, and I don't know, I'm not educated enough to speak on this, so please inform me if you know what we're referring to. But some people say that it never went away from before. It was just a lot better hidden before. They're saying that this leadership has
exposed it.
Not exposed it, but made it okay to be a certain way, to be divisive. Right? Before, people still might have felt that way, but it wasn't okay.
And it wasn't outspoken.
Right. It wasn't okay. It wasn't acceptable.
Right.
But people still felt that. Clearly, they didn't just turn into who they are overnight.
Right.
For the negative. So, people say that it's just awoken. Came out of the woodwork. So that's an interesting perspective. But dude, I agree. I feel like what the fuck is 2020? I was literally looking at this. I'm like, okay. I remember me and Benelin, we were coming back from the Millennium Mall, and Benelin's like, oh, we're declaring war with Iran or whatever at the start. There's a whole bombing thing. We bombed Iran back. I don't even fucking remember. That happened. Then the coronavirus. Well, Kobe Bryant died too. That was terrible. The coronavirus. Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, riots. It's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I feel like we are at 2020 will be written about in the fucking history books. Like 2020 is going to be a paramount year for a lot of things.
So many things. Yeah.
Oh, my computer just went on screensaver. That scared me.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, dude, 2020, like I was talking earlier, we were like, dude, it literally feels like apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it totally does.
I feel like we're going to look back on 2020 and be like, wow, a lot of change happened. And I also think we have no idea what that change is going to be. We have an idea, but maybe not, dude. Okay. I was just thinking about this. I'm going to sit up for this.
Oh.
Because this just popped in my head. I thought about it earlier, but it popped in my head just now. We were talking, or people have been talking about how peaceful, how peaceful is the American way, right? Well, I invite you to remember how America was founded. America was founded out of a feeling of injustice. From who? The British. England. The king.
Right.
And what did we do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We took it into our own hands at any cost necessary to make the change. Literally war. I mean, anything necessary to make that change. And we did. So
that's like one of the things that we're so proud of.
That's the American way.
Yeah.
So how can you sit here and tell me that protesting how it's being protested is not the American way?
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought about that. I was like,
sense.
what the fuck? So what? Peaceful protests are convenient?
Hindsight.
The king probably was saying the same thing. The king was probably like, oh, well, you guys just need to, respect the redcoats and be peaceful. Just peaceful. We'll get there.
Yeah. No. It's insane. And then the whole thing with Twittergate.
Oh, God.
Trumpgate, Twittergate, and how it seems like he's taking action so much quicker for that than the whole
coronavirus. Yeah, people were like, Trump gets censored on Twitter, response time, 2 days.
Not even censored, because they didn't even delete his tweets. All they did was add a little flair that said, get the facts about this. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And boy, believe you me, the action time was instant.
Oh, and then for the looting, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, that one was like, this tweet goes against our community guidelines, but we've left it there for because we felt it was important, like for people to see it.
Yeah,
But it's like it's not censored, but that one is hidden kind of thing. You have to click on it, like when you see sensitive content on Instagram.
Sure. Because, dude, how is that not inciting violence? That's literally condoning from your very own, supreme leader that shooting is okay. If someone's looting, it's okay to shoot.
Well, and then there's a whole compilation of Trump inciting violence at his rallies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's known. Punch him in the face, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to beat the crap out of him.
Oh, God.
Yeah. When did you ever hear Obama say that?
Dude, I know. I was reading Obama's response to this whole thing on Twitter, and I was like, wow. Sometimes I forget, and maybe because it was how young I was and we were just okay. But I was like, wow, sometimes I forget how, like, diplomatic things were.
Right.
So diplomatic. No, we're going to bomb the shit out of them.
And that set the tone for everyone else.
Exactly.
There's this video. I forget who put it out. But the scandals that Obama had, like for wearing a tan suit, and then Fox News went completely overboard
give it a rest.
with that.
Give it a rest.
Or one time that he didn't wear the American flag pin on his lapel. Oh, one time he was wearing a helmet while he was riding his bicycle.
Wow, that's news.
And that was...
Or I think there was one where he like didn't bow to some...
No, he bowed. And they were saying how he bowed lower than the shoulders.
Dude. That was news in 2010.
And they're like, no other president has done anything like this before. And then there's Trump bowing to the Saudi president.
I feel like this has happened. Obviously not gradually. Well, I'm talking about what we're talking about, inciting all these things coming out. I feel like it's happened. Not really gradually, but gradually enough that I'm like, holy shit, we don't even realize.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what the fuck? Maybe I was just high for too much of the transition, so it feels
right.
So it feels like a big change. But no, I mean, we're not alone in feeling like that. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, the more I talk about it and the more I think about it, I'm like, dude, I feel like there's a divided America more than ever right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I said we don't know what the future is, that solution, I'm talking like, what if it's literally like new settlements or, dude, I don't know. It could get that serious.
Yeah, at this point, nothing would be surprising anymore.
Nothing would be off limits.
Off limits, that's what it is. Things would still be surprising, but
yeah,
at this point, it's not unfathomable.
You're saying it right.
Unfathomable.
It's not unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, really. People might just get so fed up because nothing might change within the constructs of the United States and our current leadership. That might get taken. I mean, it's already getting taken into its own hands. So if things don't change, and dude, another thing, I guess we're having a little roast. Roast. But I was watching the press conference after the rocket went up, which is another reason why 2020 will be in the history books. 2 people went to space today from the United States for the first time in 9 years.
Yeah.
They would have been doing it in Russia. We talked about that. But the press conference after, Pence spoke, and then Trump spoke. And Pence was talking about how he wanted to give the congratulations of this day. And I forget how he worded it, but he basically gave all the credit to Trump. And I was like, that sounds so weird because it's literally a private contract. Yeah, he wrote the contract to pay Elon to get the astronauts up, or SpaceX, not Elon, but you got what I mean. But to give, he's like, and this credit, this is a day. And he was pumping this person up. He was like, this is a day made by this man. And blah, blah. I'm like, oh, wow, nice. He's talking about Elon. And he's like, our president, Donald Trump. I was like,
what?
Did he mean to say Elon? Because the way it was presented was so weird. And then Trump got up. And I mean, they both did address the incident with George Floyd. But they addressed it in a way that's like we're already on our way. Like we were on our way before this.
Which is not
It's just not true.
No.
I mean, we were in
Did your phone die?
Yeah, my phone died. That's okay. So if you're in the chat, we can't see it. So
because we've been getting so many
We've been getting blown up, so the phone's like just dead. But that's just a convenient way to do nothing. It's easy to keep people's spirits high, but do nothing.
Right.
You can keep people in that state.
Yeah, if you get people to believe that change is already on its way.
Oh, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, or not even. It's already ongoing. It's ongoing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously that's not cutting it, and we can see now. I think after this week, it's very clear for everybody.
Yeah.
Those who were like on the fence or whatever before, or silent or whatever it was. It's like
us. Silent,
dude. Silent. I know. And if you're just tuning in, we've addressed this the whole podcast before. What we've talked about the changes that have happened, but I think this week is the turning point. Literally the turning point. I haven't seen anybody except for overt people who are literally like, KKK or white supremacists. I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I don't think there's
objection.
anyone who. At least on my social media feed, I don't think there's anyone.
Even Reddit.
Oh, actually, though.
Oh, boy.
Actually.
All right.
There was this guy on my timeline that, for some obscure reason, said Trump 2020 on his timeline yesterday or today, and I'm like,
Did you think about your timing?
What?
I'm saying to him, did he think about his timing?
I'm pretty sure. Why else would he do that?
Right.
Like, even if he's just pissing off other people, it's like, really, right now?
Yeah. There was.
And yeah, he's entitled to have his opinion on who he wants for president, but be a little bit more sensitive about timing.
Yeah.
Of the whole thing. Yeah. Because at this point, like either yesterday or today, everyone knows about what's been going on.
Oh, it's all you see.
Right.
And rightfully so.
Like maybe Wednesday, even Thursday, you would be like, okay, well, not a lot of people maybe not everyone has heard about the whole thing that's going on, but today or yesterday, let's be honest.
You can't not, unless you've been living under a rock.
Yeah. Well, and then everyone in the comments was like, yeah, and then I immediately unfriended him. Just because.
Oh, you'll have to tell me after.
Yeah.
I'm curious. But yeah, I think this is the beginning of a conversation. And, as horrible as it is, as Steve Jobs would say, things always lead to their opposites. And I really do believe this is a turning point. If you have a voice, which I mean, everyone really does. Everyone has a story, a social media, people around them.
Or if you have, I want to hear if there are any other ways to protest that are not like what's going on, like that are going to spark this much change. I'd be really curious to see what other methods.
Like unknown things we don't know about.
Yeah, like right, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely think that's good. I'm curious too. We are going to be obviously staying in the loop with this. I'm looking forward to this gentleman's trial.
Yeah.
And other arrests that are
that's going to be so
publicized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a big media event for sure. I mean, it'd be historical.
Do we know when that's going to happen?
I don't know. I haven't seen.
Wow.
But it'll probably be a while from now. And that guy, oh, believe me, he's in protective custody. Believe me.
Believe you me.
Believe you me, that guy ain't seeing another inmate the entire time he's there. He'd probably feel like he'd be killed in like 5 seconds. 5 seconds. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's not safe with the black prisoners. He's not safe with the white prisoners.
Right.
The guy's just fucked. He's not safe with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we all unanimously are behind that. He's a scumbag. It was murder. And that, things need to change in this country, and people who were unaware of it before and don't have to experience that on a day-to-day basis, such as myself, are now more aware than ever and willing to get behind such a thing.
Yep.
So
I think this has been the Underthought.
This has been, we'll play the intro for an outro. This has been the Underthought. Thanks for watching.